Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Desiree Cassell. I'm an orthopedic and pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in women's health, aka pelvic floor. I'm a wife, mom of 3, foodie, lover of all things movement and nature, and I'm super passionate about educating, empowering, and supporting other women like you to find and maintain balance throughout all aspects of their lives, without pain, pressure, or peeing their pants. And this is the Balanced Momtality Podcast, where we will talk about all things pelvic floor, your core, and optimizing your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery, providing you with the knowledge and tools so that you can feel like the strong, playful, and happy mom that you and your family deserve. Now let's get you out of those pads and back to loving movement. Fill up your water, pop in those AirPods, roll out your mat, and let's connect. Hey friends, this is your host, Dr. Des, and I'm so happy to have you here for another week on the Pelvic Floor Core and More show. I hope you had a wonderful, long Memorial Day weekend. We had lots of fun. My littlest sister just graduated, which is so bittersweet. I'm the oldest of 7, if you didn't know. And so my parents have been raising kids for the last 35 plus years, and they are now going to be empty nesters soon, which I know is bittersweet. And I know we're going to miss my sister, Deja. And not only are there 7 of us, but yes, we are all D names. And if you can tell from my sisters and my name, they aren't typical D names. So it is definitely tricky. And we are a gang here in my hometown. Everyone can know somebody in my family because there's so many of us. And it's been so fun because my littlest sister is only 3 years older than my oldest daughter. So we've gotten to see them grow up together. They got to play soccer together in high school this last year, which was really special. And we will miss my sister, but we got to have so much fun doing graduation celebrations and parties and lots of fun family gatherings and dinners and activities with all of my siblings in town. So it was a blast, but it is the last week of school for my kids, and so I am starting to get in this shift of mindset, if you will, as we typically do when we go into these different transitions of seasons or different transitions in our lives. And it's always a good idea just to kind of reflect on a few things. What's important to you going into this next phase of the year or of your life? What are you wanting to really shift gears and put your energy towards? Because if you don't take the time to pause and really think about that, then the time's just going to get taken away from you. The summer especially becomes so chaotic, and it's supposed to feel freeing. Like, we want summer to be like when we were kids, right? Like, oh, we're just free. We can do whatever we want. And while I wish that was still the same as adults, it isn't, right? For a lot of women, it can bring so many more struggles because of the chaos with kids at home, constant nagging, needing to feed them, needing to clean up after them. It can bring, more leaking, more bloating, more constipation, can even come with body image issues and struggles as we start to put pressure on ourselves to get in that bikini or wear the shorts, and even, things that aren't aesthetic but can really become debilitating, like prolapse and pelvic pressure and just stress on the body. So my goal with this episode is to really help you guys feel confident going into summer, whether it's with your exercise plan, with your body image, with your schedule, with your energy and time, with having your values aligned, just to bring some clarity to this next chapter of the year. Because again, if we don't plan, then we will end up in chaos mode sooner than we want to. And summer can flare symptoms. That is just a reality, and it can be for a lot of different reasons. So we're going to touch on some of those reasons here in this episode, and then also try and just bridge this gap of clarity and brainstorming and planning so that you can feel more organized and structured going in. But first, let's just kind of dabble really quick on the pelvic floor piece and why summer can cause a flare in symptoms. the reality is, right, our schedules change, our routines change, our habits change. And so that can be hard on the body, especially if we're adding in different diets, adding in travel. Maybe we're not drinking as much water. Maybe we're doing more activity than our body was used to doing, right? There can be a lot of different things that can disrupt our routines and just change how our body is processing food, because maybe we're eating at different times of the day. But there are certain things that can really obviously change our pelvic floor symptoms, and constipation is a huge one. So again, if we're traveling more, maybe our diet is off, we're not maybe as aware of how much water intake we're taking in, or maybe we're taking the same amount of water, but now we're outside, we're swimming, we're sweating, we're losing more fluid, and you're not replacing that, then constipation can sneak up on you. And some people are just very sensitive to travel. Even if they are eating normal foods, if they travel, they're instantly backed up. And you know who you are, right? And so that is where we can have a big flare of pelvic floor symptoms, because if you've hung around the podcast at all, you should know constipation is public enemy number one for pelvic floor. Because again, dehydration, we're sitting longer, we have those irregular schedules, our bowels aren't on the same timing, so we get backed up. That constipation then causes weight on the pelvic floor. It increases pressure, it increases bloating. This can then be the cause for prolapse. It can be the cause for leaking. It can be the cause for tailbone pain, hip pain, abdominal pain. We do not want to strain. We do not want extra weight on the pelvic floor. So big goal through the summer is to keep constipation at bay. So making sure that if you are someone who's sensitive with travel, you're bringing some fiber, maybe magnesium citrate with you. You're making sure that you're eating high fibrous snacks and not just eating chips and, those quick, easy snacks on the go tend to be a lot of why our diet and our gut tend to go off track when we are traveling. So just keeping an eye on your water intake and your diet can really make sure that constipation doesn't sneak in on you, because that can be a big one why you end up seeing those issues, whether you're traveling or not. But the other reality is that summer activities can be bigger stressors. Sometimes we are getting outside for the first time in a while, jumping on the trampoline for the first time in a while, trying a long hike for the first time in a while, getting in a pool, right? There's these different levels, different types of activities that summer really opens up for us, which is so fun, but it can also feel really limiting for those of you who are well, I leak, so I don't get on the trampoline, right? I have heaviness or hip pain, so I'm not hiking or I'm not doing those exercises. And that's a big bummer. We want to get you back to doing those things and making sure that you're getting into those activities, especially things like jumping on the trampoline or running or going on long hikes with kids or carrying coolers, right? We're carrying coolers. Maybe you're carrying camping gear. Maybe you're going backpacking, right? Maybe it is just a long road trip and you're sitting for long periods of time. Any of these types of activities, too much activity or sitting in the car, not enough activity, can cause pelvic floor symptoms. It affects the pressure management in your system. And when you haven't slowly progressed your body into the ability to tolerate that extra load, just throwing yourselves into these other activities that are more intensity, more volume, longer duration, it can stress the system out and cause some flares. So I encourage you to take it slow. If it's a new activity, maybe instead of jumping on the trampoline, you're just, little rhythmic bounce. Don't avoid it. Get on the trampoline. Rebounding is amazing for your pelvic floor, which is just jumping on the trampoline and getting a little bit of resistance and intensity on the pelvic floor. But how high you jump, how long you jump, how you jump impacts that ability. So just scale it back, slowly get back into it. Obviously, this is where pelvic floor PT can really help guide you, because it can be confusing. What level is good for me? And I don't want to just avoid it, because obviously then you're never going to work towards it. But I also don't want you just jumping into it and leaking and doing it anyway. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on those bigger, intense intense moves, new exercises. Maybe you're going on the lake for the first time and you're trying wakeboarding or tubing. Like these can be big core moves. And if you don't know how to brace your core, how to manage the breath through your system during different types of movement, it can feel really confusing, which is why coaches and pelvic floor PTs like me exist. So utilize us, reach out to me. We can do one-on-one coaching. Make sure you're getting more into those activities in a gradual way. This is obviously also another place that my on-demand 12-week restore program is very helpful, because you can slowly progress week by week into these higher intensity exercises, making sure you have the stability in your body, making sure you know the release work, the mobility work, the breath work, all of the things that are going to help get you to where you want to be. But there is this other reality during summer that a lot of women can relate to, mom or not, and that's the body image issues that can come with summertime and the pressure to get into bikinis and shorts and these clothes that might be a little more free or tight and skin tight, or maybe a little bit less coverage, and we get a little bit more insecure. And I just want to speak to those women, because we all are them to some extent, right? Even the women that are shredded and have the ideal, let's quote it, right? Because there is no ideal body. I would say the ideal body is a healthy, functional body, right? That is the ideal body. If your body moves and does all the things it wants to do and you feel good, you have an ideal body, okay? And I just want to preface with that, because we put so much pressure on how we look. And that's why I just want to lay out the other big reality of the women that are having, shredded 6-pack abs and they don't have an ounce of fat. They are still insecure. They still have insecurities around different things. It might not be the swimsuit, but maybe it is. There's a lot of women I know that look amazing in a swimsuit and they still are nitpicking every little thing on their body. And this is just goes to show you, it's not about the external appearance, my friend, because then there's these women that are plus size, they're curvy, they're squishy, they're rocking that 2-piece, and they might feel confident as hell. That doesn't mean they don't have some insecurities in their brain, but they did the thing. They wore the bikini. They did the thing that brought them joy, versus I know some friends and some people, I'm not going to say any names, that are so fit and still feel insecure to the point where they don't really want to take their shirt off. They don't really want to go out into the pool and put themselves in a situation where they have to remove clothes because they feel insecure in their skin. This has nothing to do with the physical appearance. It has everything to do with your inner confidence and how you feel. And I'm not blind to the fact that many of us tie that identity and value to our external space, or maybe you see the reality of what that external appearance is telling you, right? This lack of 6-pack is integrating to me that I wasn't very good and consistent with my exercises. I wasn't very dedicated. And so therefore I'm insecure, right? You might be tying it to other things, but the reality is go have fun. Go do the things. Don't miss out. Don't miss out on the fun with your kids because you're afraid of how you look in something. Because I promise you, your kids don't give a shit, but your kids do care if you're not out there playing with them, right? But maybe you don't have kids. Still go do the thing. Your friends aren't going to care. Your family is not going to care if you show up and do the thing, but maybe you feel a little insecure in it, right? Versus you don't show up and do the thing. They're going to miss you. They don't care what you're wearing. Just go do the thing and have fun. But the reality is postpartum changes your body. Pregnancy changes your body. Hormones change your body. Our abdomen and how our core engages and how it looks and how our belly holds fat changes throughout our life. We can start to feel disconnected, especially if you've had trauma, if you've had surgeries, if you have any scars. This kind of thing can really start to create this disconnection to our core, to our body, this sense of shame, this sense of guilt, this sense of I should be more. And it's comparison culture, right? Who are we comparing ourselves to? Everyone else. And yes, many of us, and hopefully you're comparing to yourself, because that should be the only comparisons we're making in life is to ourselves. We're always trying to be better versions of ourselves. We are not just trying to compare ourselves to other people, because your body is not a problem to hide all summer. Your body is not a problem to hide all summer. I need to repeat that because your body is this magical, beautiful tool that you get to use to explore and play this summer. Who cares what the fuck you put on your body? Just be comfortable and go play and have fun. But again, I'm not blind to the fact we want to feel confident. We want to get in the bikini and feel confident. We want to put on the tight summer dress or the shorts and feel confident. But bellies change, bodies change. So bring it back to how you feel in your body. Bring it back to the work you're doing to be healthier in your body, and give your body the grace and compassion it needs this summer. And maybe that's baby steps, right? Maybe that's, oh, good job. I am focusing on my nutrition and fuel and movement. Who cares what the scale says? Maybe we're measuring inches and we're not looking at the number because, again, the scale is terrible. I ditched the scale a long time ago. I have an episode on that if you're curious why, because it can really lead to that spiral of, oh my gosh, I'm putting in all this work, but the number hasn't changed, or maybe it's even gone up, right? And so take away the value of that stupid number, put the value back on your body, because that's the reality. Your body is valuable. It is a invaluable tool. And we want to take the signals of pain and pressure and leaking as a signal to listen, to help, to adapt, to rehab, to restore, not to ignore, not to shame, not to guilt, not to resent, not to disconnect. And unfortunately, that's what we do when we leak, when we feel pressure, when we have pain. We start to spiral and give our body these labels like broken or disconnected or misaligned or, right? Like there's all these things that we start to label our body, and it's just bullshit, because your body is beautiful no matter the shape, no matter the size. You are amazing. Your body is doing amazing things for you, and we need to remind ourselves of that and know that as long as you're making the right decisions, it's a slow and steady race, right? This whole health and wellness is a marathon. We're not trying to get to a finish line. That would be dead, right? Like we're not aiming for a finish line here. You have to shift your mindset into this journey. It is a journey. Obviously, life is a journey. And so is your health and wellness. You're not going to all of a sudden reach this point and go, that's it. I've hit top notch, right? Because even the most elite athletes, who I would argue are top notch, obviously, still are trying to be better, because the moment you say, that's it, I'm good, then that's it. Like you just chose your finish line, like you're done. And from there, you might even start to decline because you stop trying to grow. You stop trying to get stronger. You stop trying to be better. So we are always trying to grow and be better, be stronger, be healthier. But being better doesn't mean being skinnier, okay? Being better does not mean you have one less dimple in your hip. Like, let's get over it. Bellies are soft when they're relaxed. If you have a rockin' six-pack, good for you. But I love food too much to create the environment to have a rockin' six-pack. So while I know I am not overweight, I also know I have a little belly fat that, yeah, I'd love to get rid of. Am I going to this summer? Probably not. Does that make me upset? I'm not stoked about it. Am I happy about it? No. Am I sad about it? Not really, because the reality is the reason I'm not going to reach that rockin' 12-pack this summer is because I'm not going to restrict my nutrition and my joy and my fun to the point where I would get that type of core and six-pack and get down to as lean of body fat that I would need to be able to see that six-pack. I want to enjoy the ice cream this summer. I want to enjoy the barbecues. I want to enjoy the cocktails. That doesn't mean I'm binging. No, I'm still working out. I'm still eating my protein. I'm still watching my fiber. I'm still drinking a lot of fluid and getting movement in, but I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of life while I can. And I encourage you to do the same and stop being so concerned concerned about how you look in something, because I promise you no one else cares nearly as much, and they're just happy to have you there. Okay? So if you need me to give you a little rough talk, a little heart to heart, I am here for it. And don't take this the wrong way. I totally understand the insecurities, but I have them, and the way I get through them, and I know we all deal with them differently, is I go blab about them onto the podcast so the whole world knows. And now they're not so much an insecurity, they're an out security. Everyone knows. And I don't give a shit. I am just going to focus on what makes me happy, which is time with my friends, time with my family, getting movement in, getting outside, tasting yummy things. I love food. And yes, I would be obese if I only relied on my love for food, which is why it's a balance. I have a love for movement. I have a love for nature. I have a love for grounding. I have a love for body work. We have to love all these things. And just to be frank, I didn't used to always love all these things. It's taken time for me to find the level and the type of movement that I love, the type of outdoors stuff I love, the type of food I love. And we have to also take in the feedback again that your body is giving you. If you're eating too much and you're feeling like shit, listen to your body. Don't ignore it. Maybe we cut back on a little of the dairy. Maybe we add more fiber. Maybe the movement is hurting because you're doing too much hiking and your knees are hurting, your hips are hurting. Listen to your body, but also don't let pain and leaking and pressure and insecurities be the reason you don't do the things that you love this summer. And so just some simple summer strategies that I'm implementing this summer that I want to encourage you to do as well are hydrate intentionally. So set some reminders, pick your big water bottle, fill it up in the morning, make sure those reminders are going off so you are getting at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Because again, because it's sunny, because you're outside, you're probably sweating more and losing more water. And again, we do not want constipation. And it's also going to give you more aches and pains. So make sure you're hydrating. Also make sure maybe you're not exercising as often as you would like. I know with my kids home, I might not be going to the gym as much as I would like. So those little exercise snacks are important. You're already carrying heavy things, heavy pool bags, heavy laundry. Kids, make those moments count. Make them little exercise snacks. Do 10 sit-to-stands instead of just getting up out of the chair when you're holding your kid. Or make sure you're exhaling on effort. I would say do both of those things. Make sure that when you're doing a moment of effort, you are exhaling. We're not increasing pressure down. That's going to help optimize the system. And if you're engaging that core brace, you're going to get more bang for your buck and save your back. The other thing is during travel, pack some fiber nutritious snacks and also magnesium citrate to stay on top of the gut and constipation issues. And also think of gentle mobility during your travel. Bring a lacrosse ball so you can do a little glute and pelvic floor release, making sure that with all that sitting from travel that your pelvic floor and hips aren't locking back up after all of the work you've been doing these last few months. Also, don't skip strength completely. I know we might not get as much time to do as much of the strengthening work as we want during the summer, but like I said, little movements can count. So getting on and off the floor over and over again, bending over and making it a deadlift every time you're picking up a grocery bag, a laundry basket, a pool bag, whatever it is, do it to 10 to 12 reps. Like just get more volume and try and make sure you're getting in a little bit of resistance training. Or maybe you even put a little loop band above your knees when you're cleaning your kitchen, and then you're getting some resisted glute and hip exercises without even going to the gym. So these are how I like to sneak in exercises. Another tip is just pick pelvic floor friendly movement, like some gentle stretching, some walking, going in the pool, hiking. These are all pelvic floor friendly, but they can become unfriendly if you do too much of them, okay? So too much of a good thing is also not a good thing. So again, listen to your body. Nervous system support. Us mamas with kids home this summer, Lord knows we need some nervous system support. I would say stress is one of the main reasons we see a lot of flares over the summer because it is chaotic, right? It is chaos. We need a little structure, and it's hard to have structure in the summer. But if you can add a little structure, maybe a loose framework of, hey kids, in the morning, we're going to have a little bit of downtime, maybe a little bit of chore time. That way in the afternoon, we're going to be out and about, we're going to be active, we're going to be doing our thing. Like, give yourself some chunks in the day where you know this is where we're working on house stuff. This is where we're working on exercise and movement. This is where we're working on our chores, our family time, whatever it is, whatever is a priority for you guys. Plan it out. And also really thinking about the reality of big, deep breaths, calming the system, especially if you're too busy to get strength training in. Keeping that breath work in your routine day to day is going to make sure that your system stays calm and relaxed throughout the chaos. But the reality is that summer is chaotic and it is hard to be consistent, but we can stay consistent without perfection. We're really trying to take that perfectionism, all or nothing mentality away, because summer is not all or nothing, right? It's freedom. So bring that freedom into this space and just give yourself the permission for shorter workouts. Maybe you're taking more frequent walks instead of going on intense runs, and you're taking family walks in the evening. Also great for blood sugar control. Maybe you're getting little mobility and exercise snacks throughout the day instead of going to the gym for a whole hour, right? Maybe you are just moving more instead of sitting at your office all day. Just little movement breaks can make a huge difference, and we're giving ourselves credit for any showing up, because anything is better than nothing. And this is exactly why I love having support tools women can access anywhere during the busy seasons, which is why Restore exists. So again, maybe you don't have the access to see me one-on-one anymore because the summer's chaotic, kids are home, schedules are hard. I totally get it. Maybe you're not near me and you're wanting to really tackle this summer. This is what my 12-week program is for. So we walk you through. There are lessons every week to explain what we're focusing on and what we're really trying to get at. There are 5-minute and 20-minute exercise, mobility, and strength options so that you can pick what is doable for you. 5 minutes on the days that you're stressed and busy and don't have time, and then you're still going to feel pretty damn good that you showed up for those 5 minutes versus 3 months down the road, stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, house is chaos, body feels like shit, kids are going back to school, and now you feel like you have to start all over again. Let's avoid that and just get into Restore right now. You have the tools. There's manual therapy tools in there. There's nervous system regulation tools in there. There's a nutrition guide in there. There is a vaginal assessment in there. So many good things. So link is in the show notes for that. But you deserve to enjoy your summer in your body as it is right now, not spend time fighting against it. Okay? So that's my hope for you this summer, friends. And if you have any other issues this summer or at all, please feel free to reach out. Let's get you on a coaching call or join my Restore program or see me one-on-one here in person in Los Alamos, New Mexico. I'm here for you whenever and however you are ready. But otherwise, let's rock this summer and let's go and have some fun. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got so many other important things going on, but I hope it was helpful and you leave here with some tools to help you in your healing journey. And I just want to ask you, if you have found this helpful, to please leave a review on iTunes. Scroll down to the bottom of my podcast page and leave that 5-star review so it can help other women see this information. And also, if you want to be a part of my community of amazing women trying to balance all the things, great tips and insight and sharing stories and just motivating each other along the way, feel free to join my Facebook group, The Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support. I hope to see you here next time on the Balanced Momtality Podcast.